Birdie the bus had had a crazy few months. His owners had gone on a modernization spree and deemed the little red bus too old and small to service the routes through the valley. The vet controller didn't agree with this assessment and purchased Birdie for cheap. "I've been wanting to establish a bus route up into the mountains ever since I took office. You, my dear bus, are the perfect suitor for such an operation." Birdie beamed. "However, you require some modifications. I will send you to my works. They are very experienced with coaches and engines, and shan't have any difficulty with you." Birdie was overjoyed. He soon got his rebuild and was sent up to the mountains. He was sad to be leaving his friends on Thomas's branch line behind, but happy he was still being useful. The streets of the mountain city were very different to those of the valley. People were everywhere. Sometimes Birdie would have to wait for them to clear the road before proceeding. One day, he came to a stop near the city hall to find crowds of people holding signs and banners. "What's all this?" he asked a policeman. "They're protesters. Here to protest about a new bill." "What's a protester?" "They're people who demonstrate and disrupt the day to forward a political movement," said the driver. "Disrupt the day? Why, that's a bit rude. I'm just trying to deliver my passengers. How do they do that now?" "You'll have to find another way," said the policeman. "I guess I must," Birdie grunted. He had to find another way for the rest of the day. The next morning, the protesters were nowhere to be seen. "This is nice," smiled Birdie. "We'll have a lovely run down to the station." Birdie did, but when he came back through the center of town later, the protesters were back. When they saw Birdie, they began to clamber around him. One man even climbed onto his roof. Birdie was most indignant. "Get off me! Stay back, you mongrels!" "Oh, look at that," said the man on his roof. "This bus is against free speech. If it gets you out of my way, then I guess I am." The crowd began to boo, but Birdie paid no attention. Soon, the police dispersed the crowd just enough to let Birdie through. He was most displeased by the whole encounter. Later on in the day, Birdie had to head back through the center of town. The road he had chosen was now also blocked by the protesters. They booed and shouted mean names at him. An unfriendly-looking truck blocked the road. The truck looked at him. "Oh, what an insult to the road. Go back to where you came from." Hey, I'm trying to do my work, you lazy pig. All you're doing is holding up traffic." "You must not support the movement. The only movement I care about is the movement of these passengers. You should be doing your work." Several protesters snickered. The truck got angry. "My master's here, taking part in the protest, so this is my work." Birdie laughed. "Well then, like master, like truck. Now get out of my way." "I won't." "You will." "I won't." "You will." The protesters backed away as both vehicles revved their engines angrily at each other. Thomas was taking on water at the middle station when his driver rushed out with a newspaper. "Get a load of this." The front headline read, "Peel Godred Bus Clashes with Protesters." The picture was as stunning as the headline. There was Birdie pushing a truck out of the way. What the fuck? Birdie was moved back to the valley after that. He now collects passengers in the villages just out of the reach of the railway and takes them to the trains. The protests had ended later the same day as Birdie's incident. Now, whenever the subject of protests or the mountains comes up, Birdie reminds the engines about the time he put an end to that nonsense. The engines just roll their eyes.